Walker, KO, Walker, KO, Walker, KO, Walker, KO. Red, white, black. This on me,
This was
man, they think they can see us, man. This that some two shit, my niggas. They can't see us, man. Well, see my birds, you understand, nigga. Zone City, whatever.
You think you're scaring me? No. Move.
Look, the more scared you seem, the more they're gonna come after you. You have to just...
This really isn't funny, dude. Help me! Help
me! We back in the low-key horror cave. You know, it's October, so we got a lot of scary movie reviews, top 10s, versus. It's a lot going on in the spooky season, which is my favorite time of the year. So once again, shout out YouTube. What's going on, Low Key Cave? Shout out to anybody that's coming through checking us out, and we back with a new movie review. Hellfest. This came out around 2018. When I first watched this, I definitely wasn't feeling it, and it wasn't that it was even a bad movie. It was just, it had a lot of generic feeling to it, a lot of horror tropes, and just stuff that I had seen so much of that at that point in time going into this, I think I was done. And if I'm not mistaken, 2018, this is the same year that they had just did the reboot of Halloween. So after that, and it was like this, it was like, nah, I'm good. But giving this a rewatch, because I haven't seen this in a minute, and currently rewatching this, it's honestly not a bad movie. And like I just said, I think I said that even talking about that the fact that it was generic, it wasn't like it was a bad movie. It just didn't do nothing fresh for the slasher genre. With all that being said, man, Hellfest is based around a group of friends, of course, going to this horror-based theme park. And pretty much you have this killer that's dressed up like Halloween theme with this mask on, and he's going around killing in this theme park. The opening to this movie is good. Like, rewatching this and watching this opening was like, okay, I like this, because once again, I think the whole aspect of this, and I think more so the terror and the fear that comes from this movie, is the reality of it and the fact that this could happen. In the vein of movies like Scream, I would say, I ain't saying no urban legend and shit. I like urban legend though. But just in the vein of those type of films like Scream, as far as something that can actually happen, a person putting on a mask, an actual human being doing these type of things, yes. And I think that's one of the more scarier aspects of this movie as far as Hellfest. The whole even thing with going to a theme park, a horror-based theme park, and having these type of attractions around, and somebody being able to do these type of things without even being noticed, or people dying and bodies being around without them being noticed because of the other attractions around. So I will give them that, even though I do feel like the most majority of these theme parks, now I ain't saying it is like that, but as far as majority of these horror-based theme parks got a lot of security, got a lot of things intact where these type of situations shouldn't be able to happen. I'm just saying, I don't know though. But you know, we have a lot of attractions like these where you got to sign a waiver to be able to even go in, like these haunted house attractions or whatever. So the premise with this was something that was kind of scary as far as the whole fact that, yeah, this could happen. On the other end though, once again, it's a lot of generic things going on, especially with our characters we getting. You got your jock, you pretty much got your playboy, you got your rebellion girl, you know, and you got the good girl, you know, the girl that doesn't do anything wrong. She doesn't have sex, she don't drink, you know, the rules of the horror movies or whatever. And they have kind of bent them here and there, going into the more generation, you know, the newer generation or whatever. But still, this kind of was, to me, in that vein of the horror tropes and cliches, the horny guys, you know, man, these niggas gotta die, they got to go. But other than that, as far as getting to the actual kills or whatever, it was some pretty decent ones. But nothing really that stood out that made you say, yo, this gonna be timeless. Like, I'm gonna remember this all night. This shit gonna have me staying up tonight thinking about this. That's the thing. It wasn't none of that. You remember that opening to Scream? That opening to Scream? Not even the fact that the whole thing with Drew Barrymore being who she was as far as killing a well-known actress at the beginning of the movie, but it was just the brutality of that kill at the beginning of that movie. And that's why I kind of had a decent, this movie had a decent opening or whatever, but nothing like that stands out as far as the kills with this movie. Now, with all that being said, as far as the killer in himself, it's a pretty decent situation as far as this guy who, this ain't no psychopath. This ain't somebody who escaped from a mental asylum. This is like your regular average guy, or even a young dude in maybe their early 20s, mid 20s, maybe early 30s, that's walking around that could be somebody that you know, just walking around causing mayhem and killing people. Another thing I really enjoy as far as the aspect of the killer is the whole thing with not getting to see his face, never showing his face, leaving that as a mystery. I didn't mind that at all. I know a movie that's called The Collector where they do that too, where you never really get to see his face, and it's kind of like leaving that little mystery up the hand or whatever. All the way down to the end, you never really get to see his face, or you don't see his face at all. So I really like that part too, because once again, it could lead to like maybe getting some sequels or whatever, or setting up something else, or like I said, just the whole aspect of not knowing anything about this individual outside of the fact that he's a father, he's an everyday citizen, outside of him being a killer. They used to kind of do that with Michael Myers, as far as, you know, not really revealing his face. I mean, I know in the first movie they did take his mask off and you do kind of see his face or whatever, but it was always somewhat of a mystery behind his look, somewhat. And that's one thing I actually like about the ending, because it's giving off this really, really grim ending, as far as this guy's not dead, because it's certain situations that end up happening, which I'm going to get back to our characters with, but it's almost basically a setup though. And when I say a setup, I mean in the vein of saying, yo, we might want to do some sequels, or if this movie is successful, then we can set something up to do some sequels or whatever. So I can see them probably trying to go that route, but what I mean by the eerie feeling of this ending is the fact that this guy comes home and he's basically like this normal family guy. He's a father or whatever, and it's like this can be your next door neighbor. This could be somebody you done spoke to every day, somebody you play cards with, you know, just any type of thing, somebody you work with. That's another eerie feeling about this movie, the fact that they don't give you like some lunatic that's done escaped out of a mental institution or nothing. You getting your average person that's going around deciding that I want to kill. Other than that, when I say as far as generic characters, one thing I do like about some of the things that go on with the movie as far as the characters is we get people that actually somewhat do some smart things in drastic situations, because the way the movie is set up, at times you can call them stupid, because it's certain situations that happen where it's like, okay, we at this haunted theme park, and it's like, okay, certain things that are happening, it's like, okay, this is a part of the theme park. It's a horror theme park. It's Halloween. It's supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be looking like people getting killed. This is a part of the theme or whatever. But once you realize that shit is not what it seems, and you realize, no, this is really a killer running around, you should probably get on your P's and Q's. And then probably some of the moments that probably made me mad with certain situations with our characters. At the same time, they do try to do certain things that end up kind of making some smart moves. And they do have certain moments where it gets kind of tense. Give or take, if you kind of caring about these characters, they have moments where you like, oh shit, be quiet, or you trying to be quiet with them because you don't want them to get caught, or you don't want the killer to find out where they at or whatever. With all that being said, man, it still don't have really nothing to stand out. Don't have no characters to really stand out. And even with a second viewing, I actually liked it, watching it a second time a little bit more than I watched it the first time. With all that being said, I'm not about to necessarily go back and jump on it the way I would with Scream or the recent Scream movies that they've been doing. So that's probably the thing too. Another thing is, it's another movie out here that I feel like they did this a lot better, and it actually came out in 2019. I might actually do a review of this, and it's a movie called Hunt that's kind of had the same premise about these group of friends going to like this haunted attraction or whatever. And it's a really good film that you should check out. And if I'm not mistaken, it was a Hulu original. I could be wrong, but it's a good movie. Outside of that though, man, if you're definitely looking for something to check out on Halloween, as far as if you're a slasher lover, definitely give Hellfest a try. Once again, it came out in 2018, and I feel like it kind of went under the radar because once again, it wasn't really nothing that stood out about it. Good cameo from my boy Tony Todd. Once again, he likes to slide in some of these horror movies here and there. I remember him in Hatchet making a little cameo. Of course, the Final Destination movies. Outside of the Candyman franchise, he do make a little cameo in here. So, once again, if you enjoy slashers, if you're looking for somewhat, and I ain't even going to say that a different premise, because you can even go all the way back to movies like Funhouse as far as this premise. But it's got some decent things going on, and it's got some little creepy moments, got some eerie moments, and it got some somewhat decent kills in here too. So like I said, if you're looking for something to watch on Halloween that you haven't seen or haven't seen in a long time, give Hellfest a try. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell, let you know when I upload new videos. Other than that, we out.